We have big news from the Big Ten. Michigan and Maryland have had their game canceled for this weekend after the Wolverines made all football activities virtual earlier this week due to a rise in cases within the program. The earliest Michigan will be able to get back on the practice field is Monday. And of course, next weekend, they're supposed to play Ohio State. All of this really at this point is about Ohio State. And look at the comments here from Wisconsin's AD, Barry Alvarez. He said, I would think that if something would happen to Ohio State and they'd have to cancel another game, that is something we'd have to revisit, meaning the current guidelines for a team becoming their conference champion. They're sitting up there still ranked number 4, Alvarez said. Our league cannot keep them from having the opportunity if they have a chance to be in the finals. Those are things we talk about, and certainly you've got to consider or reconsider. Let's consider what he just said there with Heather and Paul, who are good enough to join us every single morning. And Paul, you know what I think? I think Barry Alvarez was listening to the two of us here on this show and then on my radio show later in the day yesterday, where we were saying exactly that. The Big Ten needs to change their plans if it means Ohio State gets in.
They have to be adaptable, Greeny, and you know, it isn't just about one school. It's about the league's reputation, which has taken many, many hits already during the football season because of what they have done. And it's not that complicated. I mean, losing Michigan for Ohio State sounds bigger than it is. We all know Michigan is having an insufferable season. But what the Big Ten has to do if Michigan can't go next week is find someone else. I know that sounds like it's an elitist approach, but this is college football, and Ohio State is the bell cow. And I think Barry Alvarez and his fellow athletic directors are going to find a way. He tipped the hand there. He's the most influential AD in that league, so what he says will matter.
What do you think, Heather? What are you hearing from the Big Ten, and what should we expect to happen now?
Well, I'm hearing that they are willing to be flexible behind the scenes, and there are conversations. I just don't know that there is enough support amongst the athletic directors to change that 6-game benchmark at this point. The obvious question here is, how far is the Big Ten willing to go to put Ohio State into the college football playoff? Yes, they can certainly change that 6-game benchmark, but the 14 athletic directors have to agree to it. They have to probably present it to the presidents and chancellors, and the Big Ten office has to sign off on it. Not impossible. They can do it, and as Paul mentioned, they can also consider finding another opponent for Ohio State within the conference if they can't play Michigan. But who wants to play them is also another question that would have to be answered. And how does it look? Can they live with the public perception of how that looks, just to help Ohio State? Again, can it all be done? Yes. Are they willing to be flexible? I think they are. But is there enough support for it? I don't know.
Super quick for both of you. Heather first. What do we know about the chances Ohio State plays this weekend?
They practiced on Tuesday and Wednesday. I would expect another update on Friday if they do play, for Ohio State to explain why at this point it has become safe as opposed to a week ago when it wasn't.
And then, Paul, just to finish up with you, if somehow the way this ends up is Ohio State only plays 4 games, is there any way in the world they deserve to be in the college football playoff?
I think at that point, Greeny, it would be nearly impossible. You just can't take a team with that little to judge that poor of a resume. So I think it's dire straits for Ohio State right now to find a game any way they can to get to Saturday any way that they can possibly do safely. But you know, four games will not get you in the college football playoff when other teams have played 10 or 11.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.